Sykeo123 one more time, bro. I'm just going to go over through some things, about a few things, some interactions and some questions and things that you might have. I was sitting and listened to the feeds before I went to bed because I just wanted to see what they were like. And the first ones are off the hook, yo. I'm like, pfft. And I'm off the map, and I mess up some things. The assume thing, where Raquel, she used to sit there and tell me, assuming, you know what they say about assume? It's making an ass out of you and me both. So let's not assume anything, like, especially that segues right into what I was going to say, is like me being inbred. It's like, I am one of the, quote, least inbred people in the world. I have a lot of different splicings genetically, so I have a lot of splices, but I have the strongest synapses signal through my maternal line, through my grandma. It's basic math and science. They study it at the forts of Fort Huachuca. They do tracing on. Fort Huachuca has the strongest radio wave transmission in the world. It's radio, digital, Wi-Fi wave signals, and they trace them. And the strongest signal they have in the world going to any little human being is a man named Jesus of Nazareth 2,000 years ago, because a lot of people pray to him as an actual person, and he picks up transmission signals. The strongest signal coming back to this current day and time comes to, hi, how's it going? Yeah. So I'm the one person on earth walking around most like Jesus. Now the cool thing about it is this, is Scripture describes my life. John and me are talking. I'm talking to John, and we sit down and have these conversations, and I'm telling him stuff, and I'm like, what's going on? And we start reading, and I read the book of Revelation. It's like, Dad, the dude that's talking about me. Yeah, when we went to the hospital that I told you about where I was born, my dad parked the truck. Mom made him take me to New Mexico. She's going to be born in New Mexico. She always told me that was her gift to me, was making a New Mexican. It's a special thing to be a New Mexican. I've always grown up feeling that way. I'm a New Mexican, you know. It's a very special state. It's a very beautiful. Lew Wallace was a governor here, wrote the book Ben-Hur. He considered it a random access memory of a past life kind of thing, stuff like that. Yeah, so it's really cool. Go watch Ben-Hur. It's really cool. You'll dig it, man. But, yeah, it's cool. The part in there when the Roman centurion, he's better looking than that. When the Roman centurion freaks out when Jesus comes up and gives Ben-Hur Judah Ben-Hur water, he's better looking than that. And he's a Roman captain. He's Jesus' biological father. He freaks out because he recognizes his biological son and knows that that's him. He's also the one that executes the order to torture and crucify Jesus. He knows how to hit the stuff with the nerve endings just right. And at first, I had a young man that was instructed by a lot of imams in Saudi Arabia to instruct me on this and to understand what was going on. And I had the random access memories. I get what you're talking about. They came and talked to me and said he didn't go to training. He wasn't pain, the torture. It hurt initially at first, but they were trained with those whips to cut off the nerve endings after he just went numb. So he bled out and he went numb, but he was consciously aware of his dying, his body shutting down, but he was not physically in pain of it because they had gone past the torture stage where it went past it. They damaged all his nerve endings, and so he's just, and that's why they had the diaper on him, because he defecated and urinated himself because he had lost control of a lot of his bodily functions. It's why he wasn't able to carry out that cross up to the top of the hell I needed the other brother's help. See what I'm saying? Okay. Historical fact, not fiction. Okay. That's what happened. And so it's really sad. Can you imagine that, being envious of your son, but also being very proud of him, sitting there and talking to him a lot, because during the times he's at John's delivering his Mac, you know, talking all this Mac, and then Jesus is in the crowd, and he's going to go talk to Jesus because he's heard all these incredible things about this young Jesus, because John says, I'm not the Mac, he's the Mac, because his brother's bringing the real Mac. 13-year-old Jesus has better Mac than you. Sit down and have an analytical conversation with the kid who will knock your shorts off. He's smarter than me. And John, his cousin John can admit it. He's, wow, my nephew Jesus, I mean, my cousin Jesus is just like off the hook, y'all. He's like, listen to him. He talks to you and kicks your ass sideways. I mean, he's just, and then they go take him to the Sadducees and the Pharisees, and they're like, stop kicking my ass. I'm not kicking your ass. You're illegit, and I'm just pointing it out to you. Your math equations are off. It's like my one friend told me. He said, man, and a lot of times in the Bible they have changed it. You know, they changed the math equations, and there's illogical math in there, which makes people seem very crazy. But it's like you'll read one chapter, and he said, it's like they'll tell you that 5 and 7 equals 17, then they'll tell you that 17 minus 5 is 9. There's a lot of stuff in there that's thrown off, and you have to be able to, if you can do the math, you go, okay, this is a fallacy, that's not. You have to add it together and see where they've changed it and where they haven't changed it. It's done in math equations. Everything is done in math equations. You read, it's like doing word problems. And I can do the word problems, and I also have the random access memories. Do you understand? Okay. It's really cool stuff. And so when I read scripture, it's random access memories of things, and it's also memories of my life. It's telling me about it. Dad went up to that hospital. Sorry, get off like that, man. It's a Wi-Fi internet, and a lot of people are connected. Ralph, talk about this, talk about this. Shh, I'm trying to keep with the story. It's really hard for me to do. When I talk to more than one people at once, I get all these different things going. If I have no phone around, no this and that, if it's just me and I focused, I can have really cool conversations about just me and you. Been trying to hook up with Jennifer Lopez. I'm just kidding. That would be cool, though. But yeah, we can have it, and she'd be like, wow, you really can have a cool, in-depth conversation. Isn't all over the map if you're actually not distracted and can just focus on something that I'm really focused about. And the girls and my sons have them all the time. Yeah, it's really cool. I don't have them with a lot of people because there's always all this interfacing in crowds and things with people. And while you're asking questions to me, you have a subconscious recognition for people in your family, and they're asking questions too, and so it throws off my whole vibe. It has to just be me and you, and you and me. So you have to learn to really focus on me, and I have to focus on you. If you focus on, wow, what would other people think of this guy? He's weird, or you're thinking of it, and I pick up on what you're thinking about. Yeah, it's crazy cool stuff. So we were back at the hospital. Back at the hospital, Dad drops her off at the hospital and gets in there, comes back in. He finds her because of her distinguishes of her cries. All the women in there are going, I, because they're Spanish speakers. Dad found my mom because she was saying, oh, she's an English speaker. So it's explained in the book of Revelation. It's also explained about being raised around the dragon and what happened with my mom, and how she died, and how the other kids were brought into the dragon. The dragon is the great surveillance corridor of what the world is doing now, and he was the one that wouldn't be got into it, and he'd be this. And it's really interesting stuff. I'm sitting there reading the book, and I'm like, going, crap, this is really weird. Yeah, this is my life story. So it was going to happen whether I wanted it to or not. Yeah, that's that whole thing. Your whole free will thing was gone. A lot of it was, and then by the time the end of the book of Revelation, the free will is kind of returned to us all, and we can live our own lives, and we can let things develop, and we can have the loves that we would have, and we can have the kind of world that we decide in the most loving passion possible. So that's why I always ask for people to pray, most loving, try to be the most loving, understanding, beautiful people you can be. See what I'm saying? And then and now another thing I was talking about, Mexican culture. You got to relate, and my Mexican brothers are really cool when you dig them. I grew up with them, and they're really good guys, and they're just strong. There's a lot of macho bullcrap because they come from abuse, and it's reactionary abuse. And then there's hate, and hate leads to hating others is a form of self-loathing because we're all relatively connected. So when you hate others, it's a form of self-loathing. Relative, community, collective, group collective. I hate Mexicans. You're actually hating yourself. There's things in you don't like about yourself, and you're projecting it on the Mexicans. You're an inbred redneck. You hate yourself. And then I proved it to you. You're more inbred than I am, so you're not liking yourself. Fuck! Sorry, dude. It's cool. No, I'm not inbred. My name's Ralph Earl Parsons Jr., but that's my dad married you. Yep, she wasn't supposed to marry him, and he wasn't supposed to marry her. Time for us, someday there'll be, when chains are torn, from courage born, of a love that's free. Mom, Jesus is in technical synapses, whatever. Jesus' mom and dad, biological mom and dad, got to be together this life. Their lives were miserable. They made each other miserable. It's a good thing they didn't get to be better back then. My dad has a different kind of way of seeing things. He's more one of those fire and brimstone kind of Christian type. This is that way and that's that way. My mom is a mathematical kind of person who sees different fluidities into things. Has good, you obviously what I told you about my mom, culture, math skills, reading different books, Lucretius. Yeah. She joined Eastern thought type religious groups like Ekankar, which is offshoot of Hinduism and Baha'i and Buddhism and things like that. So my mom was all over the map, and my dad was Jesus and Christianity. And he was going to disprove all the other religions and prove his. Like Pascal, like Luther, like all the other, like St. Augustine, like all that. That's where my dad's tract was. Like John Calvin. My mom's was, you see the truth in all, and then see God in all. And then my dad had a good moral compass. My mom's moral compass wasn't as strong because she could play anywhere she wanted. You take dad's moral compass and then you go everywhere you're supposed to go and then see the truth and practice the truth in it with a strong moral compass, and there you go. That's me. They were meant to be my parents, and they were meant to be together and drive each other crazy so they could raise a son that would be the Messiah. because it's God's will and not Ralphie's will, Marianne's will, or Ralphie's too. Ralph Earl Parsons Sr. and Ralph Earl Parsons Jr. It's not our will. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, not thy kingdom come. My will be done, bitch, and I'm in charge here, and I'm God, and I'll do whatever I want, and you'll do what I fucking say. See what I'm saying? It's cool. I'm tired as shit. It's about 11 o'clock. I'm going to go roll me some sleep, get some sleep. Hopefully I'll be driving and fall asleep. By 12 o'clock, I'll be past the Sabbath here. Other ladies in the place are past the Sabbath. I'll have those sweet dreams. I'm just kidding. Nah, man, I'm not kidding. Seriously, those would be nice dreams to have. There's a lot of beautiful Muslim women in the world that are just really spectacular. I hope you cut down your stereotypes and just see them, not to pursue them sexually or in a, just in a way that you see them as such beautiful women that choose to be modest, choose to be women of faith, and choose to be a large part of their community. They're not forced to be. Some are in extremist cases, but most of them love who they are and where they are and their family. Okay? Love you, dude, man. Get some sleep, all right? I'm going to get me some rest, bro. Much peace and much love, and get you some good love and rest, and I hope you're blessed, man, all right? Don't throw that resist care for me. Okay, we'll just be cool, all right? I got to say it anyway. Blessings and peace, all right?